Hello everyone, welcome to the Stalwart Initiative. And we're back for another look at Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. And this time we're moving on to part 2 of our look into the magic items and magic tattoos within the book. So let's begin. We left off with, we're getting ready to get into the Coiling Grasp tattoo, an uncommon tattoo. We're still in the uncommon items and tattoos here. Because there's plenty to go over in the book. So this tattoo is, produced by a special needle. This magic tattoo has long intertwining designs. So that's a pretty broad description as far as what the tattoo is going to look like. You and your DM can work out what that looks like in game. The same attunement process with the other tattoos, and the feature here is grasping tendrils. While the tattoo is on your skin, you can, as an action, cause the tattoo to extrude into inky tendrils, which reach for a creature you can see within 15 feet of you. The creature must succeed on a DC 14 strength saving throw, or take 3d6 force damage, and be grappled by you. As an action, the creature can escape the grapple by succeeding on a DC 14 athletics or acrobatics check. The grapple also ends if you hold it, which I don't know if hold is a term they've been using a lot for grappling or not. I don't recognize it very well. No action required. So instead of saying just you can end it with no action required, holds, whatever. If the creature is ever more than 15 feet away from you, or if you use this tattoo on a different creature. So this is uncommon. This is a fantastic and, in my opinion, pretty powerful uncommon magic item, and mainly very useful for any player character that only has one attack. So if you only have one attack, if you're a spellcaster, right, and you're out of spell slots, and you only have one attack, especially at lower levels when your cantrips don't hurt that much. This is, you might be doing 1d10 firebolt damage, or if you're a bard, you're doing 1d4 psychic damage. With this is 3d6 force damage. So force damage is not really resisted by much of anything. There's 3d6 of it. It is a 15-foot range, and you can grapple them. And DC 14 is a pretty decent saving throw score, though strength, a lot of creatures can, do have a high strength score. So there's that to keep in mind. But and it doesn't scale. But 3d6 force damage, 15-foot range, an action to do, and there's no amount of limit to the use. There's no X amount of times per day or your proficiency level or anything like that. Very solid option. Next up we have, let me find it, here we go. The Eldritch Claw tattoo, a little bit similar here. This is produced by a special needle. The magic tattoo depicts claw-like forms and other jagged shapes. Cool. Same attunement process. This has two features. First one is magical strikes. While the tattoo is on your skin, your unarmed strikes are considered magical for the purpose of overcoming immunity and resistance to non-magical attacks, and you gain a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls with unarmed strikes. Awesome. Already screaming monk. And the second feature is Eldritch Maul. Okay. As a bonus action, you can empower the tattoo for 1 minute. For the duration, each of your melee attacks with a weapon or an unarmed strike can reach a target up to 15 feet away from you, as inky tendrils launch toward the target. In addition, your melee attacks deal an extra 1d6 force damage on a hit. Once used, this bonus action can't be used again until the next dawn. This, in my opinion, should not be uncommon. This is at least, I would say, rare. I guess I would stop at rare. Think about this. So this is great for monks, by the way. Although at level 6 you already get this feature. Your unarmed strikes already become magical as a level 6 monk. But even besides that, so if you get this even earlier than that, all the better. You get +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls, showing some love to the monk, where there's all these weapons, the magic weapons that did this for all the people who used weapons. Now monks get some love as well with the unarmed strikes. But that's not to say that a normal person can't use this in another class, because it also gives non-magical attacks plus. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. It does give it for the unarmed strikes. And it also gives you a 15 for if you use the Eldritch Maul, when you turn this 1 minute long. So essentially, most combat um, 1 minute long as a bonus action for gives you a reach of 15 feet and gives every one of your many unarmed strikes that you get 1d6 force damage. Not the first one on each turn. This is every strike. It's force damage. It's 1d6. It is, wow, that is super powerful. 1 minute per day, 15-foot reach, 1d6 added on every unarmed strike. Unless I'm missing something, holy crap. Think about it this way. A +1 weapon, right? Any weapon, a +1 weapon is an uncommon magic item. This is an uncommon magic item. It gives you +1 to your attack and damage rolls. So it's right there, it's a +1 weapon. And then it has the Eldritch Maul feature, which is amazing. And just, yeah, this is super great tattoo. I don't believe it. I believe that to be worthy of a bump up to rare. But see that this is the beginning. As we look down through these items, this is like where it really starts to, you start to notice the power creep here compared to earlier magic items where it was a +1 weapon was uncommon. Now you get all these features and only an uncommon item. So let's move on. FEYWILD Shard. This is cool. In fact, one of my players got a hold of this recently. We haven't got to use it yet, but the sorcerer got a hold of it, and I'm excited to see what implications that the wild magic stuff is going to be happening. So this warm crystal glints with the sunset colors of Feywild sky and evokes whispers of emotional memory. As an action, you can attach the shard to a tiny object, such as a weapon or a piece of jewelry, or detach it. It falls off if your attunement to it ends, and you can use the shard as a spellcasting focus while you hold or wear it. We're going to see several of these. So, like the wizards are going to get spell books, the sorcerers are going to get these shards, different kinds of shards, and the clerics, paladins get a few things, druids get a few things, bards get instruments, stuff like that. So we're going to see recurring roles here. So if I skip over that, I'll just, you'll know what it is. So the shards all kind of behave the same way. When you use a meta magic option on a spell while you're holding or wearing the shard, you can roll on the wild magic surge table in the player's handbook. If the result is a spell, it is too wild to be affected by your meta magic, so you can't stack meta magic on the spell effect you're creating with wild magic. And if it normally requires concentration, it doesn't require concentration in this case. The spell lasts for its full duration, which is cool. If you don't have the Wild Magic Sorcerer Origin, once this property is used to roll on the Wild Magic Surge table, it can't be used again until the next dawn. Most of them don't have this restriction. This is pretty much a once per day, unless you're already a Wild Magic Sorcerer. This is a once per day thing. I think this is because it is uncommon. The rare ones don't have this restriction, but so once per day you get to roll on the Wild Magic table. Pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And this and you don't have to have concentration on the effect if it's a spell. This is okay. It's flavorful, and that's how it just kind of fit into our campaign as part of the flavor. Next up, we have Guardian Emblem. This is a holy symbol, and it must be attuned by a cleric or paladin. This emblem is the symbol of a deity or spiritual tradition. As an action, you can attach the emblem to a suit of armor or a shield, or remove it. The emblem has 3 charges. When you or a creature you can see within 30 feet of you suffers a critical hit while you're wearing the armor or wielding the shield that bears the emblem, you can use your reaction to expend 1 charge to turn the critical hit into a normal hit instead. The emblem regains all expended charges at dawn. Nothing too fancy here. Again, we're still in the uncommon, and there's not a whole lot of mechanical benefit aside from when you get to use this. So it's a little meh. We'd like to see a little more love or some other minor effect come with this, but it is useful. It's, objectively useful. It's just not very flashy, and it's very passive until you can actually use it. But when that comes, negating crits for your party can come in handy, quite in handy. Next up, we have the Moon Sickle +1, and here's where another huge example of power creep. Yikes! Though I do, as a druid lover, I do like this weapon. So the Moon Sickle +1 is only attuned by druids or rangers. This silver-bladed sickle glimmers softly with moonlight. While holding this magic weapon, you gain +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with it, and you gain a bonus to spell attack rolls and saving throws of your druid and ranger spells. In addition, you can use the sickle as a spellcasting focus for your druid and ranger spells. When you cast a spell that restores hit points, you can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to the amount of hit points restored, provided you're holding the sickle. So, +1 weapons, yeah, uncommon. That was like a baseline standard for uncommon in the Dungeon Master's Guide. This is a +1 weapon to attack and damage rolls, and it gives you +1 to your magic or to your spell attacks and DCs. Raise your and the DC and your DCs as well. Wow. Okay, that makes it even more better. Now we are limited in the fact that it's a sickle, so it's not going to do much damage. It's like sickles are D6 or D4. It's a simple weapon, so you're not doing a whole lot of damage to begin with. But it is a +1 weapon, and it adds to your spells. And now you get a whole nother feature on top of that, and it's still an uncommon item. Just seems a little power creepy. So you get to roll a d4. People like the Circle of the Stars Druid will love this. If they're using like their Chalice, which already boosts your healing, this will be an extra d4 on top of that. And Circle of Dreams, stuff like that. The Healy Druids, and this will be nice for Rangers as well, although you have slightly less healing options. But and the sickle is light, so you can also make 2 attacks, use a bonus action to make a offhand attack with this or with another light weapon. Though it isn't finesse, so you do have to go based on your based on your strength modifier. I do believe. Yeah, I don't think sickles are finesse. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Please do. Let's see here. Next up is Nature's Mantle. So this is like an alternative to, Cloak of Elvenkind, I think, yes. And this does require you to be a druid or ranger as well. And this cloak shifts color and texture to blend with the terrain surrounding you. While wearing the cloak, you can use it as a spellcasting focus for your druid and ranger spells. Cool. While you are in an area that is lightly obscured, you can hide as a bonus action, even if you are being directly observed. So this is cool. Normally, like the Cloak of Elvenkind, you had advantage on hiding to doing stealth checks, and your foes had disadvantage on trying to see you. The problem is that it takes an action to hide normally, but this essentially gives you cunning action. You can do it as a bonus action, and you can do it in plain sight. Now you're not giving them disadvantage to find you, though. If you're in dim light, or if you're in somewhere else that is lightly obscured to begin with, which you need to be to gain this bonus, it might also be affecting them as well. So that is lightly obscured means that someone's going to have disadvantage on perception checks to find you. So it essentially equates to the same thing, though keep in mind that if it's lightly obscured, you might also be suffering that same effect. But pretty cool. Nice alternative. I like it. What else? Next up, Rhythm Maker's Drum. Yay, I like this one. So this is an instrument amongst a few here for the bard, as their new little shtick. So while holding this drum, you gain a +1 bonus to spell attack rolls and to your saving throw DCs for your bard spells. Okay, cool. +1 weapon. Here we go. Uncommon, +1 weapon. Oh, it's got another feature. What is it? As an action, you can play the drum to regain 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration feature. This property of the drum can't be used again until the next dawn. So this is a +1 weapon or wand. I'm gonna I use +1 weapons to evaluate the weapons, and what is it? Wand of the War Mage? Yeah, I think it's like the +1 spellcaster thing. Pretty cool. I'd say this is pretty cool. Not much more than just the +1 item. Getting 1 Bardic Inspiration feature, yeah, totally balanced and useful. I would give this even to lower level bards, especially since they don't get that many attack rolls, and they could use all the help they can get for their DCs. So very cool. And next up we have the Spellwrought Tattoo. Now this is of 2nd level. I'm just going to quickly hop over the difference here. So we already went over the normal spell rot tattoo. This is basically giving you a free spell, a one use free spell, and the DC for this one is still 13, and the attack bonus is 5 if you're doing a spell attack. I think that's the same as the common version. Spellcasting modifier is +3. I'm not sure if when we get to 3, I think that bumps up, right? Yeah, so if you're using a third level spell rot tattoo, bumps up to a DC 15, attack bonus 7, ability modifier 4. So that does scale with rarity, which is nice. Once you get to third level, it does bump up there. Next up, we're now getting into the rare magic items and tattoos, the Alchemical Compendium. And despite its name, it's for a wizard and not for an alchemist or artificer. Acrid odors cling to the stained, heavy volume. The book's metal fittings are copper, iron, lead, silver, and gold, some frozen mid-transition from one metal to another. When found, the book contains the following spells: Enlarge Reduce, Featherfall, Flesh to Stone, Gaseous Form, Magic Weapon, and Polymorph. It functions as a spell book for you, and while you're holding the book, you can use it as a spellcasting focus for your wizard spells. The book has 3 charges, and it regains 1d3 expended charges daily at dawn. If you haven't heard me say it before, I'm not a fan of the 1d3 transition that we're going into here. You can use the charges in the following ways while holding it. Okay, so this is, we're going to go through pretty much every school of magic for the wizard, and every school, subclass of magic here. This is going to be the transmutation version of this, but one feature, the first feature in every one of these books, is going to be pretty much the same depending on what school of magic the book focuses on. So if you spend 1 minute studying the book, you can expend 1 charge to replace one of your prepared wizard spells with a different spell in the book. The new spell must be of the transmutation school. So each of these books is going to kind of gear towards whatever school that is. Obviously, these are transmutation spells. This is for the transmutation school, and this is in best hands of a transmutation wizard. But any wizard can use it, and it's pretty nice. I like it in all forms. As an action, the other feature, the main feature that you get here, besides the spells and being able to switch out a transmutation spell, is as an action you can touch a non-magical object that isn't being worn or carried and spend a number of charges to transform the target into another object. For 1 charge, the object can be no longer than 1 foot on a side. You can spend additional charges to increase the maximum dimensions by 2 feet per charge. The new object must have a gold value equal to or less than the original. So you can't just like mill out a bunch of, make something like a gold piece into a gold box and it actually be worth more. It would probably have to be like hollow and gold plated. So yeah, very cool, very cool. And the fact that I like how you can adjust the size, I really do, without affecting, the economy of it. So I like it, very cool. And you don't have to be a transmutation wizard to really get a kick out of this or get some use out of it, both in roleplay, exploration, and if you're creative enough to find a use for that in combat so that it works, all the power to you. It's good stuff. Next up, we have the all-purpose tool +2. It is going to be the same as the all-purpose tool we went over in the uncommon. So take a look at that then. And we're not going to go through all these +2 and +3 variants. We've already done that. It'll waste time. Check out the other video for the original. Amulet of Devout +2, Arcane Grimoire +2, an Astral Shard, so another shard for the sorcerer, attuned by sorcerers. This crystal is a solidified shard of the astral plane, swirling with silver mist. As an action, you can attach the shard to a tiny object, basically same description. It's now be a spellcasting focus. You attach it to an object, you can hold it, bam. When you use a meta magic option on a spell while you're holding or wearing the shard, immediately after casting the spell, you can teleport to an unoccupied space you can see within 30 feet of you. I checked this out. On Roll20, it automatically leads you into the teleport spell. Pretty sure it doesn't mean you just cast the teleport spell. It just means you're like Misty Step. You actually teleport the action yourself. Because if it casts a teleport spell, then we're talking about multiple people and objects and things. And yeah, pretty sure they're not doing that with just this item. But the great part about this is, unlike the Fey one, this is there's no limit. As long as you have meta magic points, you know, as long as you have meta magic options that you can use, you do this every time. You can teleport 30 feet. That is fantastic, wonderful, and yeah, it's great. I think it's worthy of a it's worthy of a rare item, because that is free Misty Steps. You could do every turn, every time you cast a spell, as long as you use meta magic with it. Granted, you only have so many sorcery points, but you know, it's wonderful. Next up we have, if I could keep scrolling, the Astronomy Archive. This is for a wizard. This brass disc of articulated concentric rings unfolds into an armillary sphere. There, English. As a bonus action, you can unfold it into the sphere or back into the disc. When found, it contains the following spells, which are wizard spells for you while you are attuned to it. Augury Divination, Find the Path, Foresight, Locate Creature, and Locate Object. Functions as a spell book for you with the spells encoded on the rings. Very cool. I like the flavor here. While you're holding the archive, you can use it as a spellcasting focus for your wizard spells. Now keep in mind, as we're going through all these different things, the shards, the druid ranger stuff, the spell books for the wizards, these are for your wizard spells. So you just keep that in mind. They're for those specific class spells, so you won't necessarily get all the benefits for that some of these have for spells that if you're multi-classed into a different class. So yeah. The archive has 3 charges. It regains 1d3 expended charges daily at dawn. You can use the charges in the following ways while holding it. If you spend a minute, basically you can recover a divination spell. This is the divination version of the wizard spell books. So if you spend a minute, you can swap out a prepared spell for a divination spell. And the main feature here is when a creature you can see within 30 feet of you makes an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw, you can use a reaction to expend 1 charge and force the creature to roll a d4 and apply the number rolled as a bonus or penalty, your choice, ooh, nasty, to the original roll. You can do this after you see the roll, but before its effects are applied. So this is a both a bless and a guidance, and also a bane. And what's the, yeah, I don't know if there is a cantrip version for the saving throws. I guess there's not. If you can think of the negative version of guidance, let me know in the comments. Can't think of a spell that does that, but I thought there might have been a version of that. So very cool. I like that. Very cool. And Atlas of Endless Horizons is next. This is a spell book. Guess what? We're of a different school here. This thick book is bound in dark leather, crisscrossed with inlaid silver lines, suggesting a map or chart. When found, the book contains the following spells, or wizard spells for you, and attuned. Arcane Gate, Dimension Door, Gate, Misty Step, Plane Shift, Teleportation Circle, and Word Recall, blah, blah. Sorry, I'm dying. Book has 3 charges, 1d3 charges at dawn, so on and so forth. Pretty much the same stuff. This one is covering conjuration, and I thought that was strange at first. I'm like, oh, this is the conjuration book that is dealing with the teleportation side? That's kind of weird. I thought they would deal with conjuring. Don't worry, we're getting something later on that. When the main feature here is when you are hit by an attack, you can use a reaction to expend 1 charge to teleport up to 10 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. If your new position is out of range of the attack, it misses. So this is cool. It doesn't quite have the oomph that the sorcerer does, that the sorcerer's option we just went over, that the shard did, but this is, all you need is your reaction, and you don't have, I mean, you can use the charges of this thing, but you don't have to use sorcery points. So very cool. And this can, if your new position is out of range of the attack, it misses. So you can make something auto miss. Now, granted, they can still, if they have movement, they can still come after you. But if you're teleporting in a direction that puts them in a disadvantageous position, then that can change the flow of battle by you using this feature to not only save your butt, but do some repositioning so your allies can capitalize on that. Very cool. I like it. I'm enjoying all these books, all these spell books and stuff so far. And next up is Barrier Tattoo, the rare version. And which one's the rare version? Okay, so we already went over Barrier Tattoo. which gave you essentially, if you're not wearing armor, it gives you, was it like a studded leather armor worth? I think it was 12 plus your dexterity modifier. So that's cool. This gives you 15 plus your dexterity modifier, maximum of 2. So that's essentially half plate. It gives you half plate, which is worth 750 gold pieces. So if you spend less than 750 gold pieces to get this tattoo, or less than or equal to, you are getting a steal, because you're getting half plate worth of armor for not having to wear armor, and you don't have to worry about the disadvantage that comes with wearing half plate. And that's not to say if you're even proficient with it. And you can also use a shield and gain this benefit. Very cool, very powerful. I like it. Good stuff. Next up we have Bell Branch. And this is attuned by a druid or warlock. I like that combo. This silver implement is shaped like a tree branch and is strung with small golden bells. The branch is a spellcasting focus for your spells while you're holding it, and the branch has 3 charges. Regains 1d3 charges daily at dawn. You can use your charges in the following ways. This is not quite the same architecture as the wizard books or anything. So the first feature is, as a bonus action, you can expend 1 charge to detect the presence of aberrations, celestials, constructs, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead within 60 feet of you. That sounds really cool. Unfortunately, there's a little catch. If such creatures are present and don't have total cover from you, the bell rings softly, their tone indicating the creature type's present. If they don't have total cover from you. So that's the part that sucks. So if they're hiding behind a wall, that would have been cool to be able to know that they're at least around. But if they have total cover from you, then the bell doesn't ring. As an action, you can expend 1 charge to cast protection from evil and good. That is cool. You're getting a free spell. So with the wizard books, you're getting spells known automatically, but you're not getting spell slots. This gives you actual spells, or free spells to use up to 3 times a day. So, okay, this can be super useful. Super useful, especially if something is turned invisible on you, but doesn't have total cover. Pretty cool. Very nice. Okay, let's see here. Next up is Bloodwell Vial +2. Bloodwell Vial, we went over at the last video. Check that out. Devotee's Censer. I really like this one. So dry today, so dry. Okay, I think this will be our last one then. So this is a flail weapon. Requires attunement by a cleric or paladin. The rounded head of this flail is perforated with tiny holes arranged in symbols and patterns. The flail counts as a holy symbol for you, and when you hit with an attack using this magic flail, the target takes an extra 1d8 radiant damage. Already awesome. Hello. +1. Never mind. We'll go over the end here. Getting excited. As a bonus action, you can speak the command word to cause the flail to emanate a thin cloud of incense out to 10 feet for 1 minute. At the start of each of your turns, you and any other creatures in the incense each regain 1d4 hit points. This property can't be used again until the next dawn. Whoa! So this is 1 minute long. Every round, you and anyone in this mist regains 1 or smoke, or what is it actually? Incense smoke. Then 1d4 hit points. That's 1d4 10 times. That is 10 to 40 hit points once a day. That is a good heal. Granted, that's easier said than done out of combat. Now, if you use it in combat, you got to be careful and keep things away from you, because it's any creature, not just allies. So any other creatures in the incense all regain 1d4 hit points. Got to be careful you don't start healing the enemy. And it doesn't say that you can stop this either. So incense is going to burn, and it gives 1d8 extra damage. So it doesn't give you, this isn't a +1 weapon, it doesn't give you anything to your attack, but it makes up for it in its cap of damage. So 1d8 extra damage consistently all the time is amazing. And then you can use the, as a bonus action, you can use, and it's even as a bonus action, come on now. You can use this for the 1 minute of healing per day. Very cool. Devotee Censer. I'm definitely giving one of my players that sometime soon. So very cool. And that's it. That's what we'll take a look at today. We will chug on next time, it looks like some of these are repeats, right? So these +3s and stuff. So we're going to need 1, maybe 2 more videos to finish this out. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. And yeah, we'll keep going. Van Richten's is coming out soon, so I'll be doing reviews on that as soon as it starts coming out. I should wrap this up before then. But thank you very much for joining me, sticking to the end of the video. And yeah, remember, unity is strength. So take care of each other, stay safe, and I'll see you again real soon.